We're going to learn today how to put on tefillin. And when we put on tefillin, we have to start by putting on our talit first. We wear tefillin on weekday mornings, that is Sunday through Friday. Right-handed people put the tefillin on the left arm, and left-handed people will put the tefillin on the right arm. If you're left-handed, you want to make sure that when you purchase your set of tefillin, that you have a set that's tied for a left-handed person. So we start with the arm tefillin, the tefillin shel yad. If you have it in a plastic cover, we remove from the plastic cover, put the cover to the side. Notice that I'm doing all of this standing. We always stand when we put on our tefillin. Now when we put the tefillin on the arm, notice that there's this loop that hangs down below the box. There's a knot here at the back. We put the side that has the knot at the back facing our body as we pull it over our hand and up to the top of our bicep muscle where it will sit. But just before we tighten it, we're going to say the blessing for the hand tefillin, which is as follows. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehaniach tefillin. And then we can use our thumb as we pull to make the tefillin sit tighter on the top of our arm. And we're going to roll down and once over our arm above the elbow joint, and then we're going to wrap 7 times around the arm, that holy number 7 that refers back to the 7 days of creation. We try and keep the wraps even, and you want to tie it tight enough so that it will stay for a time, but not too tight. And then we take the rest of the tefillin strap, the strap only, in between our thumb and index finger, and then we just wrap the rest of it here because we're going to put on the head tefillin next before we finish with the hand.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehaniach tefillin.
Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Maya.
Take the head tefillin out of the case. The head tefillin is called the tefillin shel rosh. You'll notice that on the head tefillin we have the letter shin on both sides. And we're going to say the blessing before we put it on our heads. One note about the blessing is that there's some question as to whether the mitzvah of tefillin is really one mitzvah, both together, or 2, one for the hand, one for the head. And so to recognize the fact that the second blessing may not be absolutely necessary, after we put the head tefillin on, we're going to say, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed, may God's name be blessed forever and ever, as a way of bringing additional holiness and God's presence into this act that may not be a necessary part of the mitzvah. So we'll say the blessing for the head tefillin first before we put it on. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tefillin. We place it over our head, and we want to pull it into the center of our forehead, and it's going to rest right at the hairline. We want to make sure that the straps, the black is facing out, and that the knot in the back of the head is at the nape of the neck. We take the two straps and pull them around to the front. And then we say, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tefillin. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
We're almost finished. On our hand, we have left all of this strap. And so what we do now is the tying on the hand. There are many different traditions for how to do this. And I'll just show you the one that I was taught. And you may ask a parent or a teacher or your rabbi how he or she learned how to do this part of the tying. So I'll show you that I'll do one wrap around the bottom of the middle finger and one wrap at the top of the middle finger, going over the ring finger and coming down in between the index and the third finger. Then I'm going to go up over the top of my hand, coming all the way down, and then wrapping up over the top of my hand so that now you can see that I have the three prongs of the letter Shin, in addition to a Daled and a Yud, making the name of God Shaddai. We also have that name of God Shaddai in another way. We have Shin here. We have a Daled. The knot in the back of the head is in the shape of something that looks like a Daled. And we also have a Yud that's right here in the knot on the hand tefillin. And this Yud is facing our heart, showing that we intend to use our hand and our strength to do the mitzvot. What we do is, now that we have the middle prong of this shin, we just wrap right over it, however much of the strap that we have left, and we pull it down below the hand and push it through so that it stays still while we're praying and davening through the rest of the service. And this is how we continue through the rest of our morning service, until the end of the service when it's time to take them off. And we do that in the reverse order. So we'll start when we take them off by unwrapping. It's always easier to do this at a table if you have one. And then we wrap around the hand. We take the head tefillin off next. Place it back in the container if you have one. And then finally, we take off the rest of the hand tefillin, the shel yad. Mazel tov on learning how to fulfill the mitzvah of tefillin.